Like to call the meeting to order. Moved by Councillor Keough, seconded by Councillor Kotick. Resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson Spirit Treaty area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the community of Bigdigon, Missionabik, and Pic-Mobert First Nations. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region specifically and show respect to them today. All in favor? Carried. Any additions or deletions? No. Any disclosure of pecuniary interests or general nature thereof? Seeing none, approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Kotick, seconded by Councillor Ruff, resolved that the agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay, delegations and presentations. Moved by Councillor Ruff, seconded by Councillor Keough, resolved that council has been provided a presentation from Staff Sergeant Camille Descharmes, Detachment Commander, Marathon OPP, regarding the Township of Manitouage's second quarter 2023 report. Welcome, Sergeant.
Thank you. I was going to break the cheaters up here so I can actually read. Excellent. We've all had a chance to review it, or yeah. Any questions off the start? Excellent. So I usually just kind of, especially with in Marathon, we do have a police services board there. So we do these regularly. Basically, I kind of read through the report. If you have any questions, please kind of let me know. And then traditionally, just more or less have a Q&A or kind of talk about general things that are going on this time. I appreciate with that.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. So if you skip to the first page here, so again, talk about provincial offenses tickets that have taken place in the community itself through the quarter. Second page here, so as you can see, basically breaks down the calls from kind of blocks of time and also times of day. Some people at times can be surprised by kind of when the peak calls take place. So traditionally, the peak calls do happen throughout the day, right? So you see here, between noon to 3:59, you see 75 calls throughout the quarter, and 4 o'clock to 19:59, 93 calls. So traditionally, as we will see, is your peak call volumes will occur during the day, right? So see that. That's the times when people will stop by detachments or kind of call in, maybe a neighbor skew, things like that. So at times people can be surprised where that is the peak call times. Again, that's the reason why. It's not to say that traditionally those will be your more high priority calls, right? Or more dangerous calls, things like that. Those do traditionally occur more at night when things like alcohol or drugs can be in play, right? So those will happen at that time. It has a breakdown by month as well. So again, April, May, and June, you will see, as again traditionally does happen throughout the summer, things do pick up. So you'll see June had the highest amount of calls at 112. And again, breakdown by week as well. So Tuesdays seem to have more calls there as well. And if you look at the next page over, so there you do have your breakdowns more of calls. So you'll see it has a comparison from 2023 to 2022. Things that kind of stuck out. So threats calls are actually down from the same time as last year. Again, we had 3 compared to 5 last year at around the same time. Theft numbers did go up. So we had 3 during this quarter compared to 1 in the last quarter. Next page here. There was a big jump. So now I'm on basically the heading says calls for service by the building summary report, and it's page 2 of 4. Mental health act calls did actually go up considerably. So we had 5 in the quarter compared to 1 in the same period of time from 2022, right? You'll see attempt suicides, threats of suicides, basic voluntary transports, everything was there for the quarter, right? Another big increase was domestic disputes as well. So you see domestic disturbance, 15 in the quarter compared to 8 in the quarter last year as well. Everything else, if you look at the stats, were fairly similar in nature. Trouble with youth calls, now going to page 3 of 4. Trouble with youth, sorry, was at 5 for the quarter compared to 2 at the same time last year. And family disputes 8 compared to 2 at the same time last year as well. False alarms, they were up as well. We had 8 compared to 1 last year. I'm not sure if you have anything in place right now currently to deal with those as for bylaw. I've been in some communities who are pleased where they have had a bylaw in place where. Let's say after certain amounts, maybe after 3, kind of a warning letter goes out, right? And after that point in time, if more occur, basically there can be a fine or something like that. I'm not sure if that's something that the township has, or if they consider that at some point in time.
I don't believe we have anything in place, Jolene, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of.
Was that, oh, sorry, was that as in 3 times by the same person? Is that what you're getting at?
Correct. So let's
Okay.
use an example of a commercial business, right? So again, 3 times. A letter will be sent out kind of outlining the expectations of the township and obviously explaining the issues with cost and things like that, right? And after that, if it did continue, then again, up to the township, if they want to issue a fine or something like that, right? So it's just, again, just something I'm bringing up because that's occurred in other communities or police, so. So I will say 8 is a substantial amount. I mean, again, if you compare it to last year at the same time with only 1, I mean, that's a pretty good increase, right? So.
But was that considered a frequent flyer?
Well, with 8 in the community of this size and a quarter, I'd say, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
No, but what I'm saying is it this,
And
from
I
the
can- I
same
can get you a
place? or-
breakdown, stats traditionally about half. So
Yeah.
basically, if there is that in place, we can actually obtain that information for even breakdown as far as where the addresses, where they occurred and things like that.
Right,
That's something that can be provided to you in this type of report.
yeah, okay, so
So
that's
again,
not.
just
yeah, no.
food for thought.
For you, Mr. Chair, sorry. Just wondering, can you define false alarm compared to like a 911 hangout? What's the difference?
Also, false alarm would be an actual alarm. So again, like if your alarm went off in the building here.
So a fire, someone pulled a fire.
No, so this would be, because that would go to fire, so this would be like a house
Oh.
alarm, so maybe an alarm at the grocery store, an alarm at your house or something like
Oh.
that, right? So, yeah, like an alarm like that type of scenario, alarm at school, things like that.
A monitored alarm,
Correct,
okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, no, my comment was pertaining to them being 911 calls. So if it's actually an alarm service that's calling, my comment is.
And then we continue down to page 3, kind of again, status quo from there. And so now I'm on calls for service Blend Center report. It's at page 101 here. So again, just kind of breaks everything down. So violent criminal code, you'll see basically all violent offenses for that quarter were 7. Last year was 9. So again, we're trending on the downwards area. Property crime, that was down significantly. So again, 5 this year for this quarter compared to 10 from last year. So that's always encouraging. Property crime can be a significant issue, some nuisance to the public, right? Police service board reports, Manitouage, there has this public complaints and also daily activity reporting. So you'll see there, it does mention cruiser patrol hours, 99.75 for the quarter, foot patrol hours, 43.75, which is great. We always encourage the officers to get on the toilets. I know in my frontline policing days, something that I always enjoyed doing was actually getting out and walking around, right? I find, especially in smaller towns, that's when you do get more of the community engagement, actually finding out what's going on, right? I'll never fail, like, I'd be walking around Simcoe Plaza and Terrace Bay and somebody swing by and say, hey, somebody got in my garage last night or something like that. I didn't want to call them buckets, right? But now you're here all shouting. So I find that was always the greatest way to kind of get the info about that, was actually in town. And school patrol hours, 8.25. And that's what it is. I mean, the next page basically goes over everything we already done and went over. That's what it is, the report. So now is more or less when I more like to talk. If anybody wants to talk or have questions, anything else like that. Somebody's got to have some questions. We want to talk.
Any questions?
Through the chair. You'd mentioned that like in the summertime, there's considerably more incidents. Is that just due to the weather and more people out and about?
And that's just not for here, right? It's across the board. So just as far as my background, so I've policed in Sudbury, Hornpain, the Pembroke Petawawa area, so the Ottawa Valley area, Scriber, and now here. And it's the same across the board, right? Summer, more people around, like as far as for tourists, but also just people get out, right? Traditionally, people don't commit property crimes in -40. We're lucky in Northern Ontario. Right? So this summer, it does pick up considerably anywhere across the board. It's just that's the nature of the beast.
Everything's not very snow.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Can't track
Thank you.
records.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Through the chair, just a quick question on 911 call drop cell, is that just if a cell service cuts out or the battery dies or whatever? Is that?
Yeah, or your standard pocket dial, things like that. I mean, luckily they have gone down with the security features in people's phones, right? Those used to be really bad. It's pretty easy to do. Yeah, it's just a standard job.
Any other questions? Okay, well, I would like to say, thank you very much, and according to these stats, I think we live in a very safe community. Which is,
There's no doubt. Again, we always strive for 100% and everything else like that. Obviously, unfortunately, with the world we live in, that's not possible, right? Crime will happen at times. But I would fully agree. I mean, the other communities like Manitowoc, or communities like Marathon, really anywhere on the North Shore, we are pretty fortunate to live in the area that we do.
yes, we don't make the national news like this. Southern Ontario.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you very much
All
for
right,
coming.
no
Thank you for the report. And further that council thanks Staff Sergeant Ducharme for his presentation. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Moved by Counselor Kodak. Seconded by Counselor Ruff. Resolved that the minutes of the special council meeting held August 16th, 2023 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Moved by Counselor Keel, seconded by Counselor Ruff, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held September 13th, 2023 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Ruff, seconded by Counselor Kodak. Resolved that the minutes of the special meeting held September 13th, 2023 are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Petitions, correspondence. Anything for correspondence?
Through the chair, can we bring down a rate of, please?
Okay. Okay, anything else? Thank you. Resolved that correspondence item 0801 to 0803 be received and filed, and be it further resolved that agenda item 0802 be returned to council under business for the meeting of September 27th, 2023. All in favor? Carried. Pen's running it in. Well, go far, let's. Oh, good. Stand by. Right on. Okay, where are we at? Reports to committees? Okay. Moved by Counselor Rupp, second by Counselor Kodak. Resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Manitowoc Public Library Board held May 23rd, 2023 and June 20, 2023 be accepted as received. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Keel, seconded by Counselor Kodak, resolved that the minutes of the meeting of the Thunder Bay District Board of Health held June 21st, 2023 be accepted as received. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next. Verbal update to the mayor. Okay, just before I came here, I noticed that there's a lot of different color paint marks on the roads all over town. I don't know if anybody noticed that. But that's due to the fundraiser that's happening, that just finished for the Santé Manitowoc Health. There was a color run. I was glad to see that there was over 80 participants. So that's amazing. They are also going to be promoting a dog walk. So if you've got a dog, sign them up. There's an X amount of kilometers to walk in the month of October. So that's a great help for the hospital. Another thing is the cenotaph. I've noticed that the volunteers have started to, clean it up. They had the pressure washer and taking the paint off. So that ought to be coming to life very quickly. All right, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you for you, Mr. Chair. A few more updates as well. Just a reminder to the public that our water service provider, Aqua, is conducting swabbing of our lines this week. So you may notice discolored water. The water may be turned off in the middle of the night. If you have any concerns, you can contact the Public Works Department, who will be able to get you a response. We have advertised this, flyers went out in the mail to all the residents, as well as it's been posted online with Facebook. And a reminder to residents that the bears are alive and well, and just to be mindful when you're out late at night or early in the morning, to be vigilant of that. And a quick update for council regarding last meeting, council directed staff to get some costing on the remediation of the shutdown of the pool. We reached out to TBT Engineering, and to our surprise, the staff that we had been working with no longer work there. And so this has negatively impacted all of our capital projects. But we do have a meeting scheduled with their senior management next week. And to get an update and a new point person to work with at their firm. And they have advised that they will be able to get us the information for the next council meeting on October 11th. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Over to business. Oh, boy. Okay, moved by Councillor Keo, seconded by Councillor Rupp, resolved that council is in receipt of administration report FD 2023-03 submitted by Don Kruger, Fire Chief, regarding Fire Prevention Week 2023 proclamation. Okay, and further, whereas Township of Manitowoc is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting Manitowoc. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas smoke alarms detect smoke before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire in which you may have just seconds to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms save lives by providing early warning of fire so you and your family can safely escape. And whereas the Township of Manitowoc residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarm and knows how to respond. And whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Township of Manitowoc residents will make sure their smoke and carbon monoxide alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Township of Manitowoc first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrences of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and public fire safety education. And whereas Township of Manitowoc residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fires, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme, cooking safety starts with you. Pay attention to fire prevention. Works to educate everyone about simple but important actions they can take to keep themselves and those around them safe while cooking. Therefore, I, Jim Moffat, Mayor of the Township of Manitowoc, do hereby proclaim October 8th to October 14th, 2023 as Fire Prevention Week. And I urge all of the people of the township, Manitowoc, to cooking safety starts with you. Pay attention to fire prevention. And to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Township of Manitowoc Fire and Emergency Services. That was a mouthful. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you. Moved by Councillor Keel, second by Councillor Kodik, resolved that council is in receipt of administration report admin 2023-37 submitted by Jolene Keel, clerk, regarding the procedural bylaw, being a bylaw to establish rules of order and procedures for the council of the Township of Manitowoc, third reading and enactment.
Thank you through the chair. So this bylaw has been before council 3 times now. The last council meeting, I was directed to put the notice of passing for this for a 2-week period as per our notice bylaw. To date, I have not received any written comments. I did receive the one comment previous that was addressed in my report to council at the September 13th meeting. But I was accepting comments until 2 p.m. today, and I did not receive any. So if council has any questions or comments regarding the bylaw,
Seeing none. Okay, well done.
thank you.
And further, that council approves the procedural bylaw, being a bylaw to establish rules of order and procedures for the council of the Township of Manitowoc, the third reading and enactment. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Kodik, seconded by Councillor Rupp. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report admin 2023-38 submitted by Jolene Keel, clerk, regarding to amend resolution 2022-294 regular council meeting and acting mayor schedule to include Councillor Ruff in the acting mayor schedule.
Thank you through the chair. So this is just a housekeeping provision before council. At the ending of last year, we had passed the acting mayor's schedule along with the regular schedule of council meetings. That will come to council again at the end of this year. So in the interim, we have previous councillor Scapinello that was identified. So we need to add Councillor Ruff for the months of September, October, and November.
Any questions? And alphabetically, it doesn't change the order and doesn't bump anybody
No,
around.
it
So
doesn't.
that works out. Thank you very much. And further, that council amends resolution 2022-294 to remove previous councillor Scapinello and adds Councillor Ruff on the acting mayor schedule for the months of September, October, and November, which is now. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next. Moved by Councillor Kodik, seconded by Councillor Keel, resolved that council is in receipt of Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association, NOMA, strategic plan for elected officials, municipal input survey.
Thank you for you, Mr. Chair. NOMA is a Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association. And they are updating their strategic plan and have asked for council input. They suggested that it would be easiest if council does it together as a group. So I have the survey open on my computer and we can go through the questions together and I will capture your responses. One of the questions is about whether council supports a regional strategic plan. And they've provided an example of the Waterloo Regional Economic Development Strategy. And so that you can take a look at it to see what it might look like for Northwestern Ontario. But I will go to the first question. And you can just shout out your responses and I'll type them in. In your opinion, what distinguishes Western Ontario from other regions that contribute to its charm and potential.
Nature.
Does it say natural beauty?
See, push the ski hill.
I want to say lack of crime after that police report.
Good one. And I would agree, the beauty we're living in a postcard.
And additionally, what unique characteristics does your municipality possess that adds to the overall appeal of the region?
Anybody?
Lisa Spiegel.
Tranquility.
Along the lines of this, you know, the state park and the beach. And the activities for families to get into the beach together.
For recreation.
Road records?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Do you support the idea of a pan Northwest economic plan?
Through the chair, specifically what does, and acronym or something?
It's encompassing all of the communities.
That's what it means.
Northwestern Ontario would encompass Kenora to National.
Through the chair, I imagine each different community has different needs for specific things, right? Rather than just going with a blanketed generic plan for every community.
Mhm.
So I would say,
Yeah. Anyone else?
Your options are yes, no, or undecided.
Oh, now we have options. I myself would be undecided, not knowing all the facts, because what strategic plan for Thunder Bay would be not necessarily reflecting Manitowoc. To the size of the community. That is encompassed in the area. What else?
Through the chair, I would have to say undecided as well. Like our needs and where we are geographically are different. Than the communities that are on Highway 17 right along the shore. There's some places like Kenora and that are part of it, you know, as well, so. There's lots to consider when doing something.
That's it.
Undecided?
I mean, I support it personally, but that's as long as they don't try to impose it on us or anything like that. As I see it, it would just encourage cooperation amongst the communities and try to identify combinations amongst us. That's what I kind of gather, but. See why.
Good point. Mhm. Anyone else?
I would have to agree with undecided. I would like to see more of what the plan entails and how it's going to affect each community specifically.
I put undecided.
Okay.
Next question. Regarding infrastructure mitigation and resiliency strategies for climate change. It asks, what steps is your municipality taking to address climate change through infrastructure mitigation and resiliency efforts? Select all that apply. Conducting vulnerable assessments and risk analysis for infrastructure. I can confirm that we are doing that through our asset management plan. Implementing green infrastructure projects to reduce flood risks. I can't comment on that, unless Richard if you know of anything that we're doing to reduce flood risks.
As of right now. I'm actually in the midst, we're gonna be calling Rose tomorrow. And either flush the truck, either. I would actually send them on over to like locked up. Just pitching. It's been a long time. So we need to really concentrate on opening some culverts right now, and we're gonna. Because it needs to be on slow. Right now. A lot of that is not even well, right? So. A lot.
And the rain last week proves it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes, implementing. Upgrading existing infrastructure to meet climate resilience standards. I can't say that we are upgrading our infrastructure for that specific purpose. We're upgrading it because it needs to be updated. Adopting climate responsive design principles for new construction. I'd say yes, when we look at the recreation center project, and the municipal building, we're looking at adopting better heating systems that are more efficient in terms of energy and cost. Integrating renewable energy resources into infrastructure projects.
Well, I think we are trying with the five community project for natural gas, but those are kind of considerations for that one.
I'll leave that one blank.
Okay,
Engaging with the community to incorporate their input in climate resilience planning. Not so far. Establish emergency response plan to address climate related disasters.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, through the community emergency management group, we look at a number of different emergency scenarios that the municipality could be faced with. Certainly weather is climate related, and that is one of our highest risks. The winter storms.
We are also, the fire department has been encouraging residents to take in the Fire Smart program, which is wildfire mitigation.
Great. Collaborating with other municipalities to share knowledge and resources for climate resilience. Yes, Richard is saying yes. Updating building codes to incorporate climate resilience standards.
Not unless the province is correct.
That's right.
Mhm.
Okay. And then. Has your municipality undertaken any initiatives to raise awareness and foster community engagement in climate change adaptation and infrastructure resilience? If yes, please specify the actions taken, workshops, educational programs, and public forums. John, how would you describe the Fire Smart program?
Well, we didn't have any engagement, so. We put together a contest. We're encouraging people to try and, wildfire proof their properties, and we have zero public engagement this year, so. Not so much.
Okay, but the information was available to the public. Through
It
social media?
was, yes, it was put out through social media. We also had actual physical pamphlets and flyers here in the county office.
Sorry, just to add to that, we had the Fire Smart barbecue as well, and we did have relatively good community engagement that day. We had some MNRF crew from Wawa come up and They also have some information to present that went fairly well.
Thank you.
Okay, so under the modernization project inventory, are there any ongoing or completed modernization projects in progress within your municipality? These projects may include infrastructure upgrades, digital transformation efforts, process improvements, or any other initiatives focused on modernizing municipal operations. So the answer is yes. The capital projects. Recreation related. And administration. Sewer and water infrastructure. Roads, sidewalks.
I would say
Library,
the new asset management system as well.
would our IP phone be considered digital transformation?
Wait,
Yeah,
maybe.
and please provide examples of municipal best practices you have implemented or wish to implement. For example, topics include housing, transportation, broadband, healthcare, and staff retention. Under staff retention, I'm going to put the acting CAO program. To train senior management for leadership position.
In the compressed work week.
Compressed work week.
Personnel policy.
A lot of this is focused on mental health. Okay. Anything else? Would you hold on? We do, that's a great one. Workplace wellness. We just had an event this week that was well attended, and also a shout out to staff who coordinated that. It was great. It was a golfing at lasagna. So on to information sharing on municipal governance regarding youth. Has your municipality implemented any initiatives that have successfully engaged youth in municipal government?
Work in progress. We're getting there.
Yeah. If yes, what were the outcomes and lessons learned from these initiatives? Work in progress. You're very good.
Hard to reach the youth. How do we reach these kids?
So you've been to the high school.
Yes,
Yeah, we've been to that. We give presentation.
and we will be going back.
Will return in 2024.
Actually,
Well,
next
no,
week we might-
in the next couple of weeks.
Will follow.
There we go.
Does your municipality collaborate with local schools, colleges, or youth organizations to promote awareness of municipal government and civic education. Yes, often, yes, sometimes, no, and no plans to implement, no, but plan to implement in the future.
I know that the programmer will usually reach out to the local schools and make them aware and try to advertise for our student positions that come up throughout the year.
So I could say, yes, sometimes. What strategies has your municipality used to promote the participation of marginalized groups, including women, indigenous, and racialized youth in municipal government? Please select all that apply. Establish youth councils to involve younger members of marginalized groups in the decision-making process. Offer workshops or educational programs to empower marginalized individuals with knowledge about local government decision-making and their right as citizens. Promote diversity in municipal staff and leadership positions to reflect the community's composition. Allocate seats on advisory boards, committees, or councils, especially for representatives of marginalized groups. Implement flexible hours to adjust work schedules to better accommodate their personal and family needs. I will select yes for that. Ensure meetings are held at accessible locations and times to accommodate various schedules and mobility needs. Yes to that also.
Going back to the allocate seats on advisory boards and committees, I do recall our Community Revitalization Advisory Committee had that identified in their terms of reference. We did end up not receiving any applications for the identified groups, but we did have to amend it, but it was identified.
Great, thanks, Joel. Moving on. This is multi-municipal interest in joint facility design and construction. Is your municipality working with other municipalities to provide a service to residents? Example, staff sharing. Yes, we are currently working with another municipality. We work with the Township of Horn Plain to share our bylaw enforcement officer.
Also, marathon.
Marathon fire. Okay, so I have to type that in. Township of Horn Plain. Bylaw. Town of Marathon. Fire chief. And building inspections.
Fire code inspection.
Would the fire department also being Marathon's mutual aid count towards that?
We can put it.
That would be marathon, Scriber, and Harris Day.
Would the city of Thunder Bay with our chief building official also apply?
Has your municipality actively engaged in discussions or collaborations with neighboring municipalities regarding joint facility design or projects, for example, construction?
Natural gas initiative?
Good one. What are the top three priorities your municipality intends to focus on over the next year? I put capital infrastructure upgrades. Roads, sidewalks. Recreation. Sewer water. Trails,
Oh, yes.
all season.
All season trails and activities, yeah.
Housing,
Housing and tourism, I would think.
is there a topic you or your municipality would benefit from learning more about?
Marketing,
Need to see if that's the last thing. Okay. Good job.
Thank you. That's one good way to do it. Okay, and further that council requests the CAO submit municipal input survey as completed to NOMA. All in favor? Carried. So now we have a division here.
Yeah, so it goes back to this
Yeah.
one. So the
Okay.
previous resolution identified it come down, so we're good unless we have direction.
Okay, so. Item number 05, we're gonna go with correspondence from Minister Paul Calandra, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding. Responding to the Housing Affordability Task Force recommendations.
Madam Chair, this is a very big issue everywhere. and We're not exempt from this issue. And I was just wondering if the council was going to be filling in the top 5 concerns, or even if we want to introduce them about going to be sending this back. They didn't put the mark. This is something.
I looked at it and I think that's a great idea, and I think I forwarded to you as. Something, and that's something we could even discuss right now, if there's any certain ones that you picked out. Because some don't apply to us, a little 74.
Right.
But some definitely do.
Could we start with things that you've identified that don't overlap in the conversation?
Okay, I don't have it in front of me.
Sorry.
Okay, I don't have it in front of me. I wasn't prepared. Thank you.
Through the chair, for council's information, reading the letter that was submitted, they are asking for responses by October 16th. We are having a meeting on October 11th of council.
Okay.
So that could possibly be brought back to the next meeting.
Yes. I would appreciate that.
Okay, so I think we could all put down top ideas from this, or our top 3, and see how they come together. So we all have homework. Does everybody have that email? Have it? Okay, if not, we can.
Yeah, it's in the agenda.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Is that everything on that subject? Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Now we'll go to bylaws. Oh, no, we
No,
gotta
I
do
was just
that.
gonna,
Sorry.
sorry.
Bunch of great ideas in there. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I need a mover
Oh,
and seconder.
yes.
Sorry.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Rupp, seconded by Counselor Keel, resolved that council is in receipt of correspondence from the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing regarding the responding to the Housing Affordability Task Force's recommendations. And be it further resolved that the correspondence and top 5 Housing Affordability Task Force recommendations for response, the top 5 be brought back to the council meeting date October 11th, 2023 under business. All in favor? Carried. Bylaws. Moved by Counselor Rock, seconded by Counselor Kotick. Being a bylaw to establish rules of order and procedures for the council of the Township of Manitowoc was read a first and second time on September 13th, 2023. And further be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-45. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Keel, seconded by Counselor Ruff, being a bylaw to enter into a conditional contribution agreement with the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation for the Manitowoc Recreation Center Upgrades Project, be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-46. All in favor? Carried. Okay.
Budget.
Moved by Counselor Kotick, seconded by Counselor Ruff, being a bylaw to adopt, excuse me, to adopt the estimates for the sums required during the year 2023 and 2024 for general purposes of the Corporation of the Township of Manitowoc be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-47. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Ruff, seconded by Counselor Keough, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption of the tax rates and to further provide for the penalty and interest in default of payments thereof for 2023 be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-48. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Ruff, seconded by Counselor Kotick, being a bylaw to set the 2023 transition ratio and set rate reduction for prescribed property subclasses be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-49. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Where we at?
Confirmatory bylaw. Next page.
Next page. Okay, confirmatory bylaw. Moved by Counselor Keough, second by Counselor Kotick, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Township of Manitowoc at its regular meeting held Wednesday, September 27, 2023, be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2023-50. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Moved by Counselor Kotick, seconded by Counselor Ruff, resolved that the regular meeting adjourn at the hour of 7:55. All in favor? Carried.